Okay, looks like we're good to go. Okay, I think I see everything now. I was waiting for confirmation, but it looks like we're all set. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is May 12th, 2022. Always have to check the date. And welcome. It is Thursday, so we're kind of nearing our week's end. Been a pretty interesting week so far in the markets. We'll talk about the fact that a couple of things are developing over this week. First and foremost, yesterday was a clear break or loss of expected move for the week. Normally what you want to define with these breaks and these breaches are whether or not you close inside the expected move or if you close outside the expected move. And in this case, we have a very clear closure outside of our 39.89 downside expected move. So for the week, we were looking at about 134 points for the SPX. We obviously achieved that downside target. And now that we are breaking, we want to be thinking about the potential for the extension. What this means is obviously we're still in a very strong downtrend across this particular index. As that selling continues, hedging activity becomes more and more facilitated by the fact that we're outside of the normal risk levels for the market. Some interesting facts that we're not seeing volatility rise at this point, but as far as dynamics go, what we can be on lookout for is the next target, which if you're coming from the expected move is often going to be a double, a 2 times expansion of expected move. And in this case, that puts our price level for the S&P down, in this case, to about 38.55. So I'll go ahead and show that price here and show the name. And we have our 2 times expected move at about 38.55. So will we get to this price level? Potentially. The momentum is certainly in the favor of the market heading lower. Is this becoming a bit overdrawn? Certainly. I think a lot of people are recognizing a bit of an oversold market. The weekly has been selling off for about 6 weeks at this point. We've seen lower highs and lower lows all 6 weeks. And even on our more volatile previous week, our high that was set was actually an equal high compared to the week prior. So there's definitely this facilitation of bit of bull trap going on. You know, some of the intraday play trapping bulls in poor location. And at this point, because we continue to break down, some of those bulls are obviously stopping out. There's more people maybe selling in fear or simply thinking that this market is going to continue lower. And as you look further and further out, you can see the type of momentum that the market has picked up over the past couple of weeks. So obviously we are in the downside swing. You know, how long this lasts, it kind of depend on when we start to see some reversal style signals. And at that point, we'll be looking at the market from the perspective that we should, which is any bottom that is set in this market has the potential to become just another price level that eventually gets broken in the future. For example, obviously January, February lows were quite powerful in how they were set and the reactions we got from them. But as we are in such a strong downswing at this point in time, any low that's set here has to change all time frame trends in order to become essentially a bull candidate for certain styles of trade. And as we see, there are some key stocks these days that are really facilitating the downside. Now, Apple, probably one of the most important stocks for the S&P. Not only did we have a weak day yesterday, but there's a very clear sense of breakdown on Apple's chart. For example, this is the first time that Apple has confirmed a monthly downtrend historically ever since, looks like about 2014. So has Apple had drawdowns and pullbacks? Absolutely. Apple has gone down in similar styles with the rest of the market. There's been deeper corrections on Apple's chart. But as far as a bounce and setting up a monthly low or high, this is one of the first times that Apple has done this and then broken that monthly low. So obviously there was strength in Apple on February to March timeframe. That move higher was quite impressive, pretty much 11 days of complete bull domination. And now we're seeing a breakdown. We're below all levels of support on the monthly time frame. We're definitely searching for that next area. And as you can see, I've gone ahead and started to mark some areas of interest as the sells. Those will offer some either technical responses or potentially just downside targets as the sell-off continues. Now, without going through other charts, you can apply this analysis across the board. Microsoft is very clearly under its monthly support simply because it is also in a monthly downtrend. Stocks like Amazon breaking their monthly trading range. This is Wyckoff distribution theory here, but of course much more distributive at the highs, indicative of the next phase, which is a downtrend. In this case, a very clear monthly downtrend, obviously looking back in time to our previous trading range is our next stop for this chart. And, the list goes on. Kind of compare your favorite large market cap names. A lot of these names have different volatility readings, but when it comes to what defines trends, monthly downtrends are of the structure for a lot of these stocks. Whether they have higher sell swings and buy swings than others is really just a factor of the type of stock that it is. And as you can see, there are some stocks who actually have not confirmed these changes in trends, but they're on that razor edge. So in the marketplace where everything is kind of continuing to the downside, what are some things you can do for trading around this type of price activity? Well, one thing you can be looking for is whether or not the market puts in relative lows. So first and foremost, as a long bias trader, you may want to avoid stepping into the sell pressure until we get some levels to trade around. For one, all trends are of course bearish. Even something like an hourly trend at this point in time is down in the market. And really all you're trying to do is allow the market to reestablish some sort of bullish posture to even initiate a long position. Additionally, stepping in bearish at this point feels a bit long in the tooth. The idea is that typically, some of the worst locations for stepping in to a move in progress is at some of the absolute lows. Basically, when things look as if they're going to continue going, usually within a day or two, that's when you get some of the stronger counter trend reactions. And most of the time, it's just about risk to reward. How much upside can you take relative to a downside target that you're maybe shooting for? So to step into this market, some ideas would be keep an eye on volatility readings. As I mentioned before, a breach of expected move without a volatility spike is a bit odd. This is not typical readings in regards to where volatility is trading. You'll notice things like the active contracts and vol futures. About 6 days left on these. So you definitely want to be looking more to the June and July contracts, which are still in backwardation. Very mild backwardation at this point in time, but we're definitely still in a more unsustainable volatility environment right now. The VIX itself, still hovering around this resistance and inflection point. The question is, do we need to see some sort of volatility spike to set that low? At which point the VIX could easily be trading upper 30s into mid 40s before we see any sort of relevant capitulation. Lower skew readings, higher conviction from bearish positions, obviously more at the money put premium being purchased on this move. And our P call, just our put to call ratio, identifying relevant lows in the market, usually spiking above the one print, indicative that the marketplace is leaning more towards one direction. In order for it to tilt back in the opposite direction, you normally need to see this either spike or start to come down more or less in some sort of counter trend decline. Now, this is something you kind of want to interpret a little differently than other oscillating charts. There are some relevant highs and relevant lows. I usually like to mark them relative to price lows in the market, which in this case would be like your Jan lows and your February lows in the S&P. So we really haven't hit that ceiling yet of when does the low get set, but we're teetering very close to it. We're kind of awaiting for that spike, and unfortunately the selling has continued without getting that signal. So obviously the price recognition has been quite high. The price decline has been quite high. So some other things today: new dollar breakout. So dollar strength continues. This is going to be for, obviously people still holding on to a long dollar position in this market. So new relative highs. Once again, everything's kind of getting a bit extended, even things like the dollar itself, which is in an uptrend, but it's in a very strong and almost parabolic uptrend at this point. Our energy plays are still forming. So nat gas forming potentially a weekly trend change in the favor of consolidation. Crude trade still channel-based trading whenever my chart loads. So nothing of note there. Some other things I'm kind of paying attention to, the IWM. One thing that I like to see for some more informative levels is other markets putting in signals of bottoming. Unfortunately, the market has been correlated pretty heavily on worse sell days. Some of the harder sell-off days have been fully correlated. For something like IWM, there are some structure areas that I'm interested in regards to setting up potentially trade if we see our reversal signal. First things first, we have things like the crash highs. So just a swing high before a swing low, very important to pay attention to. What you want to do is have the market define what the low looks like, which is not there yet, and trade around this particular price range if we get some sort of reactionary bottom. Another thing I'm interested in is this gap. Now, this gap looks smaller than it might actually appear simply because you have the bottoming tail. But when it comes to the actual gap range, we'll zoom in here just for clarity. This is one that's actually a bit odd because technically the gap close to the gap open was here. Now, some of that's been filled up and hence the bottoming tail of this absolute low, but the entire gap is represented by the close of the previous candle. And then in this case, this is a weekend gap, similar to the S&P gap that we interpreted. It actually opened much higher and then filled up partial. So some relative structure in this area, definitely interested in those locations. bottom right. Okay, so let me extend this one out. Okay. So what that allows you to see is this zone is structurally interesting, whereas before there really wasn't much in the way of relative support. You'll notice that one of the most obvious pullbacks here marked the low of where the IWM was trading prior. So it's indicative that this was going to be a support zone for a period of time. The idea now is we are, of course, back into a sell swing. We've broken this range. And now we're coming into some areas where a new relative low can be set. Obviously, what that looks like is yet to be determined. But this is an area of interest for the next round of trade in the IWM. And, you know, I really like a lot of these analyses for charts that are very well developed, very clear topping, very clear redistribution, and then the larger sell swing actually coming from this redistribution once you back test supply. A lot of things that take time to develop, but the structure here is really important to understand and really to trade around. You know, this happens to be a great trading market so long as you're willing to step in short when you're supposed to, and then to get out of your trade at your appropriate targets. In this case, I'm looking at the IWM getting close to its relative target and setting up a new trading range for the future. So, yeah, all in all, I think that's pretty much it. You know, we didn't really look at the Nasdaq. Unfortunately, the Nasdaq and the SPY are probably going to hit their relative lows at about the same time. Nothing of clarity here except for we do have a bid starting to form in the bond market. You'll notice this is a fairly bullish looking candle at the lows of a downtrend. We're starting to engulf previous week's activity. And additionally, some of the relative strength of the past couple of days, people are starting to get into, you know, some of the longer dated bond products. That's obviously putting interest rates back into, you know, sub 3 levels for the TNX and the TYX. But all in all, you know, a little bit of fear-based trading in regards to people going back to bond products. You'll know a couple of us have been looking at this as an opportunity, definitely kind of positioning around these relative lows, some technical areas of support previously, along with the fact that the market is conditioned for this trade. So we were just waiting for that bottom to be set. So, all right. Any questions or things to look at? We have someone wanting to look at CCJ. Structurally, what I have is a higher volatility range forming. You know, the whole trade around CCJ has been centered around highs and lows. Excuse me. I need to get this cough out. Okay. The whole trade has been centered around highs and lows in this this uptrend. This is a very volatile uptrend, and it's meant to be disruptive because of the volatility. What I will say is that normally this area is a buy point. As the rest of the market is selling off, you need to wait and see if a buy signal comes back into this trade. All we have right now is an area of interest that the market normally responds bullish at. It follows a rough trend line, and what you're looking to see is a response. So daily, you know, it looks like a downtrend. It is a downtrend. We've had daily downtrends before that mark significant lows and they lead to new highs. But it takes time and it takes a lot of patience in regards to that setup. This is not something that you easily step into with a 1 to 2 day bias. So yeah, this is post earnings as well. So if you believe in the uranium trade, this could be a ticker or a candidate. You may also want to look at some other names to see if they're setting up. So like triple U, for example, coming into a swing low, which you need as a signal. And I forget all of the names. URNM, uranium, Sprott, I believe this one is. Yeah. So the uranium trade right now is on the sell side. You need that to pause if you're looking long. Okay, please take a look at Apple. We did look at Apple already. Monthly downtrend, breakdown of monthly support. The structure here is indicative that we probably have further to go. And, there's nothing about this chart that gives me any sense that the sell is over. If anything, the sell swing is just starting. So to me, this says I'm just now starting to gain some bearish momentum in the favor of the monthly bulls. And, big picture, where does Apple like to swing in regards to extensions? Somewhere in this range, maybe a little bit lower, because usually when you're in a sell swing, the volatility goes higher. So you're often looking a little further out than a normal extension. So thoughts on Diz finding a bottom before COVID lows? Maybe. Disney just reported earnings. So short-term trade around earnings. $10 expected move, roughly. We closed at 105. We hit 100 psychological support, short-term. And 95 would be your downside target for the expected move. Meta. Yeah, we have a little bit of structure that we're still trading within. Watch this swing low, and this was an earnings low, an extended sell swing that got back into the trading range. So most of the trade's going to be centered around this range for now. You probably want to be looking for an opportunity here to change trends, and you need the market to stop selling. Like you can't take longs if the market's in a sell swing. Most of them will not work. Not in these sectors. These are weak sectors. Nvidia, really full sell swing. I don't really have anything indicative of a bottom until we get to this trading range. So Nvidia went parabolic. I expect parabolics to give back all of the move. So this right here is where the move started, in my opinion. Yes, there's deeper lows, but this one has to be tested first. So I think Nvidia is going for this area first, and then we'll trade around here for a while. So that will be kind of a less directionality, more back and forth trade for a period of time. What do you think about anchored VWAP from COVID lows on SPY? I don't use anchored VWAP, so use the analysis that the anchored VWAP interprets. I don't use it, so I'm not going to use it here. There are rules around anchored VWAP. If it's following the rules, there are trades. If it's not following the rules, something's changing. All right. I'm going to go ahead and drop here. We'll get started with pre-market prep. So thanks, everybody. Trade safe. Talk to y'all next week. And yeah, hopefully y'all are keeping it green.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you guys, here we go. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. I hope you guys are having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had a great day yesterday, at least better than what the SPY has been doing. Norm, how are you today?
1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Just waiting on this data to come out. We just had jobless claims come in a little bit worse than expected. Not much, 10 grand ish, 10 or 11. But I'm waiting on PPI, which is the producer price index, another inflation number. I haven't heard it come out yet. So much like yesterday, the CPI, consumer price index we had yesterday, that came in hotter than expected. That's going to cause a lot of changes. Here we go. It's expected at 0.5%. 0.4 maybe. Sorry.
No, it's okay. This is good info. We definitely want to see what happens here.
All right. Right in. Okay. All right. So there we go. Now, Brian, I listened to our Benzinga squawk. That's a lot faster than other text sites load. Core PPI 0.4 versus 0.6 consensus. That's correct. 0.5 versus 0.5 on the estimate for PPI month over month. All right. So as I said, jobless claims were a little bit worse than expected, and that's where we are.
Yeah, 1 second, guys. All right, there we go. I had to fix my headphones here. All right, so worse than expected. We'll see how the
No,
market
it's pretty much in line
in
with our
line.
expectations.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see how that's going to react. This market, guys, has been incredible. And I'm talking about just overall movement. We saw it yesterday with the stocks we had in play. Let's take a look at a few of those. And this morning, before we get away from our gappers list, you can see here just the massive sea of red this morning as we are gapping down almost 8% on the spot here. So again, more stuff towards the downside.
8%.
No. Almost
0.8%.
8%, like 1%.
8%.
Like
1%. Okay. I thought you said
yeah.
8, and I was like,
Oh no,
uh-oh, my
we'll be
charts are
having
off.
we'll be having a different conversation. So yeah, a lot of stuff in the red. We'll take a look at that. But let's take a look at here the stuff we had yesterday. Starting with coin. Now, coin again, it had dropped so much. It didn't actually trade all that well as far to the downside, right? But you can see here did do a crazy recovery right at the bell. So it did a nice low here, nice little bounce, and then just sold off like many of the stocks that we had on deck. Mara, same thing here, nice little pop, and then the sell off. These were aggressive sell offs on Coin and Mara. Nvidia, AMD, AMD had a better pop. Nvidia, not so much. Again, just everything, guys. After like the first 2 hours, hour and a half, everything just kind of went on a downtrend. That was the play yesterday, right? You could have taken some good opportunities as far as taking a couple of squeezes here, like AMD, for example. This thing is sitting on a beautiful daily. And you know, you saw a nice little pop here, actually better than most stocks that wanted to go north. Couldn't hold eventually, it did sell off. Not as bad as some other ones that we've seen. But the overall theme yesterday was the sell off, actually, with the spies just taking over everything. Oxy was actually pretty strong yesterday, guys. So I had as a secondary. Some of you guys called it out in chat, and this thing was strong almost for the entire half of the day there. So um, we're gonna have a similar day today, guys. We'll see what is really in play. We'll start with our gap up list here. I'm gonna remove the stuff from yesterday off our list. Control A, Control X gets rid of that. And then let's start taking a look at our gap up list this morning. We have CGEM today. They are not looking so good here. What is this? This doesn't look great.
So biotech, they announced a partnership with another company to create a. I'm not quite. To acquire another company. It's a little confusing. Like you said, it doesn't look that great with everything else we got going on. I think we can have better choices.
Yeah, I could agree with that 100%. So, right now, guys, not looking so hot. I think we'll have better stocks to trade today. CPNG, this has been making a little bit of noise. It's been in our gappers list quite a few times. I don't really like the way it trades. I think there's better stocks out there. They do got some good volume today, 1.3 million. They are up 12%.
They had earnings last night, and
Yeah.
they've gotten at least 1 or 2 upgrades this morning.
All right. So again, if this is your type of stock, yes, it is in play here, up nicely. Again, I'm just not a big fan. We'll put it here in the secondary list. Let's see what happens. They're up nice today with some decent volume on some good news there, so that's good. TPR, this is no good for us, guys. Just very choppy. Pre-market activity, no volume whatsoever. So we'll skip on this one. EQNR, another one that we've seen on our list more often than not, and doesn't trade very well. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is foreign.
Yeah,
But I
it's
can't
out of
remember what it is.
Norway gas company.
Yeah. So again, just better tickers out there to trade, especially today. All right, let's see what's gapping down. We got a couple in the double digits here, which are not doing great. I see BYD is on deck today as well, down 23%. So we'll see what Beyond the Meat is up to there. And then the list just goes nuts, right? Under 3% here, you have everything we've been trading over the last couple of weeks, right? It's just all there. Even Twitter's making an appearance today. We haven't seen that one in a while, but I see that's on there as well. Let's see what's Bros is doing. BROS, they are down 35%.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a fairly new company. IPO less than a year ago. It's supposed to be a Dutch Bros coffee. Supposed to be a very high growth. They're projected, or they were, to come out with tons of stores. They had earnings last night, and they cut their forecast due to inflationary pressure. They've got a downgrade or two this morning with some big cuts on target prices. So we'll see.
We'll see how that goes. It's okay. I mean, it's a big drop, guys, right? What's the float on this, by the way? We're looking at
29. And it's got a high short float as well, 25%.
Yeah, it's pretty high there. So again, be careful with this. They're down quite a bit this morning, man. So let's see what happens. All right, let's get to BYND. What's going on with BYND, man?
On the meat.
Ooh.
Yeah. So they had they had the losings last night.
They had the losing. We can actually put this up today, right? They're down 24%.
That looks a lot better than fake meat jerky, doesn't it?
That does look very good, my friend. I could go for that right now. I haven't had breakfast yet. I can go for that.
Yeah. So they had earnings, and they were just off. They're getting some serious price cuts this morning. I don't see Goldman listed here, but I swear Goldman had a nasty one. Let me see if I can find it. Goldman maintained sell, lowers price target to 14. Piper Sandler target to 12. The one thing they said was they started making a plant-based jerky that cost a lot more to produce than what, and that hurt their bottom line. But yeah, having issues.
Yeah, they are getting destroyed here, guys. So again, down 24%. Definitely in play. Let's see what happens here.
She is. She's on YouTube. She's not in the room.
She's over here. She's trying. What's going on? Megan, how are you today?
Chris makes it. Chris MC plant-based jerky. Why not just eat a carrot? I agree.
Megan, good morning over on YouTube. And for those on YouTube, let's hit that thumbs up for Jared every morning, just getting it done there for us. So we appreciate it very, very much. BYND, guys, it is in play. Let's see how it trades here. I haven't looked at it in a while. It can be funky at times. Man, $19. Wasn't this thing like a 200, 300? I mean, wasn't
it was up there, brother?
Right when they got
also their short floats crept up to 41%.
Wow.
Per trade ideas, and yes, Their high was in July of 2019 at 239.71.
Wow. I mean, they had all the good news going into McDonald's, right? Going into Dunkin' Donuts, and it just hasn't worked for them. Has not worked for them. All right, so they're getting crushed here today, guys. Be careful on that. Let's see how it trades. VERU here again. I think the fun is over on this, man. I don't think this is gonna be. How did it do yesterday? I had it on a secondary, but again, with everything else, you didn't really need to look at this.
They had earnings this morning. That's their because they've had generally overall good catalyst recently with their COVID treatment, but their earnings were this morning.
Okay.
And they discussed progress of their
pill. It's a pill or whatever.
Yeah, it's a pill, oral treatment for COVID.
Yeah. I'm not liking the way it's setting up right here, guys. I'm gonna skip on this, especially today. Here's coin. How low can we go here on coin? We are now down another 9.2 on this thing. 1.1 million shares traded. Again, it did well yesterday, so we'll watch it again. Let's take a look at it again. Masters, MSTR, not really master, but might as well be MSTR here. These guys are down 7.8.
Yeah. This is MicroStrategy. Andrew actually tweeted about this yesterday. So they hold a ton of crypto and Bitcoin, and they're getting smoked on this crypto meltdown. You'll see a ton of crypto on the list this morning. Obviously, Bitcoin hit. Bitcoin was below 27,000 at one point, below 26. It actually this morning overnight traded at 25,350. It's popped up a bit from there, and it's actually but still, nevertheless, there are concerns about their liquidity if Bitcoin goes down to
It's look at the drop here, guys. 460 at 155 now. Just insane. The issue with this one is going to be the volume. They don't trade that well, but the volume has been increasing, obviously, as they continue to drop here. So if you're into this, this is definitely one you can watch. But again, something like Coin might trade a lot better. They got 1.1 million shares traded. Maybe something like even like Mara today can actually trade a little bit better. They don't get the same volume they used to, but maybe these are going to be a little more liquid than that MSTR is going to be. I mean, ouch. They're just
MicroStrategy trades like a maniac sometimes. So
yeah. It's I don't think I ever looked at this one until today, but yeah, be careful, guys.
It doesn't have enough volume to even be considered in my book, but these others, the coin and other stuff, similar play and not as crazy.
Agree. Mara used to be the go-to, but Coin has definitely taken over that with great.
And MicroStrategy only has a $3 spread.
just three. Let's take a look at GM this morning. They are down 4.7. Anything going on with them? I mean, this seems to be a big drop here.
Yes. They got GM and Ford got big downgrades out of Wells Fargo, saying that their EV battery costs are going to be just astronomical, and they're going to have problems with that, with profitability because of it for years to come, essentially.
So, not looking good here, guys. You know what? Let's see. Let's see what happens today. I'm gonna add GM on here. I want to have different things because we know we're gonna have AMD. We're not gonna have Apple. We're not gonna have all these other tech companies, Nvidia for sure. I want to kind of mix it up a little bit to see if what's happening elsewhere. We have Ford here right below that. We have Disney as well. Disney down 5%. Earnings
Disney,
yesterday. Ouch.
Yeah, they had earnings last night. This was kind of anticipated. Their sub numbers actually weren't too terrible, but they're just kind of overhyped in the pandemic issues with streaming and everything else, and they're getting hit with the others.
Yeah, I'm shocked that the drop is happening like that now after Netflix and other streaming service reported. You would think some of that would be baked in, but I guess not. But yeah, so Disney, guys, again, it's another one that can actually do something good here today. We'll keep an eye on that one. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla is definitely in play, guys, down 4.4. Love the volume. Just getting this story. And again, remember, when the SPY's moving, this one can move 3 to 4 times the SPY movement, right? So not always, but it can move very well like that. LH is a disaster. I've seen this before.
I'm about to throw something up. Can you pull that up?
Yeah, where you threw it?
I don't know if that came in here earlier or not. It's the picture I just put up there. Somebody, I think it might have come from here, but share that one with YouTube. That's
there we go. There we go.
What a time to be alive.
Man. It is a great time to be watching the markets. So much going on, so much activity. But yeah, that's not having a good time at all. LH, guys, I mean, it is just a horrible trading stock. I don't even know why it's on this list. Block drive, $180, 180,000 shares traded. Not really in play. We'll skip on this. AG, I don't.
Talking about it.
Yeah, I know, right? AG is no good here. Let's get some fun ones. I want to get some real fun ones here. A-Firm down 3%. This could be interesting. This business is just going to the drain here at the moment. PLTR, we have that one on there. Okay. Rivian, I'm going to go through these quickly because I know we just so many, we can't go through them all. Rivian has
I'll
some
be right
good
back,
volume.
brother. I've got a workman that just showed up half an hour early, and my dog's going to go crazy. So I'm going to try to be back as fast as I can, but just letting you know.
No worries, man. Do your thing. Rivian here, guys, dropping 2.8. So it's got some good volume on it also. So could be interesting as well. Don't worry, I'm not going to fill up my list. I'm going to give you guys a chance to throw some stuff at me here. Here is Plug this morning. They are down 3%. Just a sea of red everywhere we look here. Valet, no good. Let's look at Space. I want to get Space not doing things. How about Neo? Neo's got the volume and they are down 2.8. I like Neo as well. That's a possible for now. So, all right, I'll leave you guys some room here. I want to see what you guys are watching. We're not going to go through all of this here. It's just way too much. So let's take a look here. Jason, yeah, I agree. I think the outlook was going to be, I mean, we kind of knew the outlook on streaming services was going to be an issue, right? We did know that. I'm just surprised that after seeing what happened with Netflix, even Roku a little bit, these other streaming services, even the music streaming services, I'm surprised that they dropped that much. I think some of that would have been somewhat baked in already, right? Like even if they had a good report, I don't think it was gonna change things. So a little shocking that they dropped that much. So interesting. I have them on here. They're down 4.7. They could be fun today. Let's take it to the chat room. What do you guys like this morning? John, you got a few on here. Are these actual tickers? Is this FNGU? Sounds like fungus here. What is this? Microsectors, FANG. Doesn't look too good. Yeah, doesn't look great at the moment. QID. Okay, this is what ETF here. Yeah, so I won't really be watching ETF, and ABC is probably what another one that's this doesn't look too good. Be careful with this. Very spready, very spotty. Yeah, CFCs are no's here. Be very careful with those you're throwing out there, John. I mean, they're again on a day where things were quiet, maybe as a possible, and that's pushing it, but on a day like today, when you're going to have Tesla, you're going to have AMD, Apple, which we haven't got to yet, but I'm sure some people are going to throw those out. Okay, they're starting to come in now. And the SPY's doing what it's doing. You can pick stocks that are going to have a very tight tight spread. Apple, the spread on Apple is a penny every day, no matter what. I don't think maybe 2 pennies, but that's the type of stocks you want to be in a day like this, right? With a lot of liquidity and a lot of volume. Rivian, yeah, I threw Rivian here. It's got some good action on it. I think it was green this morning. It's down now 2.7, so it's got some good movements in here. And the volume is there. So let's see what happens with Rivian today. Is there any news on it? Because they seem to have a little bit higher volume than most of the stuff that's just dropping because of the market, and they do. They had earnings last night. So post-hour earnings on Rivian. Let's see here. Tesla, we have AMD. Let's take a look at that one from Tunde. AMD. AMD, man, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good today. But we know we're loving an AMD. We're loving this area of support. We saw a nice little pop yesterday. Again, I think if it was not for the SPY, AMD's ready to spring back up into business. But the market's holding things down a little bit, as we can see. So I do like AMD. I see a couple of you guys throwing out Nvidia as well. I think that's another one for us to watch. This has, I'm telling you, Nvidia. John said it best in his tweet. If you don't follow John, make sure you do so on Twitter. I don't know his exact handle, but we'll throw it out here in a second. He's always putting some really good stuff, and he's so consistent with his trades. You know, he does the worst trade that he traded and the best trade of the day, right? So it's always good. And sometimes the worst trade could still be a green trade. Doesn't necessarily has to be a red trade, but he tells you know what he did well. Beautiful breakdown. You could definitely learn a lot, for that. So AMD is good, yeah, definitely. And Nvidia has been trading so well. At times, Apple was like our go-to for tech, and it's going to be. I'm not saying that Nvidia is going to replace them, but Nvidia has been doing very well, just very clean, for the most part, right, compared to other big tech companies like this one. So happy to have that one on deck for sure. Tesla, yeah, how low can it go, right? Tesla, how is Tesla doing now? We're down 4.4, and they're just getting destroyed here. Look, barely trying to hold on to this date here, this level that we have there. We'll see if that's going to hold. So we got similar names like yesterday, guys. Very similar watch list, and that's okay. The only difference here is Rivian and of course BYND. Then everything else is pretty much the same, because that is the type of day that I think is going to be as well. So you don't have to go too far to find a list that's working here. All right, so let's see over on YouTube. The coin AFIRM we looked at. I do have AFIRM here. Yeah. Danko trades. Yeah, your list is pretty much what I have as well here. Disney is good. Jason, they had good news. Yeah, Rivian. So how was their outlook though? It was that's the key thing.
Actually, they had pretty good news.
They had good outlook too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's strange for them to drop like that. I mean, the market's not.
I don't know, because sorry.
No, it's all good, man.
Distracted and irritated. You want to blast from the past, and you haven't asked me if I have any yet, but check out Ride. Wow. Remember this one, Lordstown Motors?
Man, yes.
Trading down $1, but it's popping up 20% today off selling some of its assets.
Yep.
I think selling a plant.
Yeah, this was disastrous here. This was a very hyped IPO. I remember that too. Like, this was like when this thing came out, it was a big deal.
It was when everything was EV mania. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you had EV on anything you were coming out, and you were golden. So, yeah, look at that. Let's see what else on this side. Over on YouTube, throwing out some of the stuff that we've already looked at. So thank you for that. That looks good there as well. Trying to check if there's anything that we haven't checked out yet. Nope, we are good. Jason, are you saying you like university, or I mean like you like the ticker U? Because that was in play a few days yesterday, but I don't think it's really doing anything today. All right, guys, we have a good list. BYND, we have Coin, we have Tesla, we have Rivian, which interesting up and then straight down here. So that's interesting there. AMD not looking so hot pre-market, but I do like the daily on it. And Nvidia has been just incredible. Definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. Down 2.5. It's got the volume too. And did we look at Apple? We did not look at Apple, but I know you guys mentioned
broke
it.
That 150.
Look at Apple. Apple looks really good today. Yes.
I'll tell you what's freaky, man, is the VIX. The VIX is at 34. With as much as we've had VIX dollars. Yep, you got it.
Yep.
As much as we've sold off, the VIX is elevated, but I wouldn't say it's high. We haven't hit 40. We haven't. I think it was 36 a few days ago or a week or so ago. Yeah, there's no panic. It's just orderly sell-off so far. A little concerning.
It's the market, man. The market, I think, has become so sensitive to everything. Everybody's like, "Oh, recession." And it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's very weird. That's the best way to put it. It's a very weird market conditions that we are in, to say the least. So, but yeah, you're right. The VIX not hitting, with everything going on, not even hitting 40. That's very interesting. All right, folks, let's get to our community events and announcement for today and tomorrow, and then also some for the rest of the week as well. Let's hop into that. We'll come back and fine tune this list.
All right. Next Monday we'll have Dash Trader Pro Q&A with Kyle. That's 8 p.m. on Monday. Thor's VPA Part 2, I think it's posted, but I'm not 100%. It will be soon if it's not. Next Tuesday, we've got Peter talking about cyclical markets and the fundamentals of long-term market action. All right. Last night was Creda talking about neutralizing pressure while trading. Should be posted soon. Next week, we've got Mike doing Trading Psychology 101, 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Mentorship today, John at 11, Ed at 4, and let's see. I'm going to pull up. I don't have earnings for later, and then Thor tonight at 8 p.m. I'm going to see what earnings Ed might have after the close. Affirm, I don't see him that being one he trades. Not a whole lot. We'll see. I'm sure he'll find something. Don't forget about, unfortunately, that doesn't separate what's after the close from beginning. So,
unless you scroll down, you'll have to see it here.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. But there's no, I've already looked at the.
No, it's nothing great.
No.
Well, let's see Affirm. Let's see what that does.
Can it go below 0? All right. And then don't forget about StockTradingSimulator.com, our free web-based replay simulator. You can go there, sign up. You'll get a couple of homework assignments a week. One on Wednesday, one on Friday from Eamon, pointing in the right direction of what tickers and days and times to look at them. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'd like to try out the room, you can go to BearbullTraders.com, scroll down about halfway down the page. Use the sign up for the intro membership. It's 7 calendar days, 5 trading days. Use the promo code PreMarket24. It'll get you a discount off that trial.
All right, thank you. Excellent. All right, guys, we got a little bit of time. I see a lot of great questions coming in, so let's take a few minutes to answer some of these. So Paul in the chat is asking, Carlos, when you guys say the stock looks good today, how do you mean? Is it activity? Yeah, it's usually activity. For example, if you look at Apple, and we say it looks good today. If you look at this pre-market action, this is great pre-market action. I mean, just look at the movement you're getting here. So I love that. Look at the volume you're getting here. So this looks good to me today. Also, the fact that we're dropping and losing some levels, like we lost this 145 here, and we're continuing to just run through these levels. We're barely hanging on to any daily levels here, I think, right? Yeah, we ran through a lot of good support levels there. So we're holding on to this kind of resistance support type level there, 143 now. That's going to probably be the low of the pre-market. So that looks good to me. If you look at yesterday's pre-market action, you might have good volume, but it didn't look something like this, right? Maybe not yesterday, because yesterday we had everything drop, but the days before, it doesn't look this clean. You might have a little bit of some sideways action. I'll give you an example. AMD, this does not look great today. I do like the way AMD trades at times. I like the daily we're trying to hold here. If you notice, a lot of tech companies are the last 3 days, they have dropped a lot. Well, we just looked at this one right here, Apple. AMD's holding here. So when I see that, and again, I don't have a hard rule on this. When I see something like that, usually when you get any kind of strength, this can rally pretty good. AMD does not want to sell below here, guys. It's made that very clearly. We're not making this up, right? Doesn't want to sell below here, but the market has other stuff for it, when it drops like that. So that's why I like AMD today. But yeah, if you look at Nvidia, same thing. Doesn't look great, but I love the daily drops here we're getting. So that's what we're looking at. Kind of the daily, the pre-market activity is what we're looking at when we say something looks good for today. Susan, our thoughts on why the market is doing what it's doing. I don't know. There's so many different experts and analysts that have so many different opinions. As far as we were talking about how the market, how weird it is with the VIX, not going crazy. People are not panicking, but yet the
It's not
SPY,
panic yet. It's just an
right?
orderly sell-off, but it's deep for what
Yeah,
it is without panic yet.
right, right.
You've had
Um,
individual names. I mean, some of these big names that have been, really big movers. Nvidia, great example. You got up on the screen. AMD,
hmm
they've pulled off. I mean, Nvidia's been just cut in half or so,
Yeah,
and so, and people aren't panicking yet. That's a little freaky.
yeah. It's strange, very very strange. Um, Over on YouTube, so a couple of questions here. Can we look into Baba? What do we think about that one? Think and grow. Thank you. Oh, I like the daily. I like the daily for a possible drop here if we can lose this here. I think the volume is a little bit light for today, and I have a thing with Baba. I like Baba when it gaps up, and if there's a sell-off opportunity at the open, it tends to sell off very aggressive. There's something about that, and we traded that several times here. Now today is gapping down slightly here, 1%. We'll see, man. If today again, keep an eye on the SPY, guys. Keep a chart of the SPY up, and a stock like this one or other stocks that are already selling down, are they're going to be in play. They're going to be in play. So if you like Baba, I like the daily on it. Of course, you got some levels down here. I think that could be a good one. When does Baba does release? When do they release earnings? David, let's take a look here. We can
It's not today. I don't
no,
think
not today. I don't think so. A pre-market May 19th, so next
so.
week.
They already have next week. Sorry,
Next week, yep.
Man, apparently I went 88 miles an hour in my DeLorean and hopped into the future.
Oh man, so next week we'll see how that plays out. That'll be interesting. See how those earnings are going to be next week there. All right, cool. If no more questions, we'll get to some levels. Why GM over F? If I had to pick between those two, I would definitely pick GM. 4 is down to today.
I mean, I have to pick one of those garbage tickers to trade.
Exactly. Like if I had a gun to my head, I would definitely pick one of those. I put GM on here because
I wouldn't. I'd rather the consequences.
consequences. Move to greener pastures. Yeah, they're down quite a bit actually. Actually, you know what? Ford actually does look better pre-market wise, but they're both not great, man. Look at this list we have up here. I will just like yesterday. I'm probably not even gonna look at my secondary list. I'm probably not going to. It's the list up here is so great. So this Ford or GM doesn't really matter. I'm probably not gonna look at that today. On our main list, I think we're gonna have enough to play with. We're gonna have a lot of fun there. Could you please look at CCJ? What is
I've got
that?
no input. That's a uranium company out of Canada. I've got no input on that. It's
Yeah.
I'm no uranium expert.
No, not at all.
Jared spoke about it in the pre-market.
Yeah.
And engineering the markets a few minutes before we came on.
Why is Rivian SSR where it has dropped more than 10%, right? Of yesterday, not today. Yesterday, yeah. So that's why you can see the drop right on here. There's a few things on SSR.
Megan makes a good point too. It's a Brian stock. What Ryan? What info are you talking about? Leveraged long short semiconductor. Yeah, absolutely. There's multiple tickers for that.
Yeah, but there are plenty. But you got stocks that trade very well though. But again, you got options, right? Stick to what you're good at. You got options when it comes to this market, especially the way it is right now. You can trade so many different things, right? There's tons of ETS for Bitcoin and all that stuff. But look at coin. This is in play today. Could definitely trade that directly right there. All right, did I miss something here? No, I think we're good. All right, guys, we are set. Let's get some levels in here, and if we have time towards the end, we could do some questions there as well. But let's get some levels for our top stocks that we have here. Do you guys care about what the market is doing when you are trading? Say shorting AMD, but market is going up. Well, that's Absolutely. The thing. We do care, but that's the thing. I don't think that will happen today because these guys do not have their individual catalysts, So I think if the
Now they're just
market's,
using AMD as an example. So I mean,
oh yeah,
the market, and it depends on how volatile the market is. It depends on how strong the move in the market is. If it's just barely grinding up and it's nothing exciting and it's just a run of the mill day, I generally don't pay a ton of attention to it because it's not going to overcome an individual catalyst. If you're in a market like this right now, wherever people are concerned, and we're seeing these big declines, and there are strong market moves with heavy volume, you have a positive catalyst. We spoke about this yesterday. A ticker, an individual stock with a positive catalyst, it's going to have a lot harder time breaking free of that market and not being weighed down by it. Even if that stock ends up going green and the market is heavily red, usually, not always, a lot of times though, that market may, if it was on a different day when the market was just flat, say, it could have gone higher possibly.
Right.
It's not always the case, but that's kind of how I think about it.
That's how I tend to look at it as well. I mean, the way the market is, I don't want to go against it really. Just my thoughts on it, but anything is possible, as you mentioned. All right, guys, let's get to some levels here. Let's start here with BYND this morning. Again, just down huge today, guys. This will be interesting for sure. They're down 24%. Low of the pre-market 1850. High of the pre-market 2086. So let's see what happens there. Big gap here. We have not been down here in quite some time. Man, let's go to weekly. Yeah, whoa. Is that are we below their IPO? Oh boy, oh boy. You guys are in chat on YouTube saying that you buy beyond the meat. You got to buy more. You got to buy more. This is not. I think someone mentioned they're buying at least 2 a month. You got to buy more. This is not doing well. So that's your all-time low right there, guys. 1850, just getting destroyed, and you have no levels up in this gap down on the daily. It's nothing here. So, man, BYND. So. That's what's happening there. Towards the top, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, and that's all you have going on there. Here is Coin. Coin, I think, is going to be a good one today to keep an eye on. Again, just Bitcoin just getting destroyed. All those coins there. Here we have a low of the pre-market 46.60, and then I think we're also in an area where we have not been down to before, guys. Opening up at 340. Yeah, we saw this yesterday. So a new all-time low for a coin here, 46.60. You don't have nothing else below that. Towards the top, let's go back to our daily. You don't have to add anything, just highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, previous day close. Wow. Here's Tesla. Man, Tesla also taking a nice little dive here. 697. Low of the pre-market, and towards the top, guys, pretty good levels here. Don't have to add anything. You are sitting here at highs and lows for the last 2 trading days, and you have previous day close. This low of the pre-market trying to hold here. This is back in February. We had a nice little pop there. Look at this. This was that crazy day where everything just gapped down huge and just rallied. It was a rip your face off day. I remember that there. Not just Tesla, there were a bunch of stocks that did that. I think even Apple, many stocks just took off there. Going to the left here, we do have some stuff. July, June, August, September. We got a couple of areas of consolidation here on the daily that we can mark down. More towards the bottom, really over here, 670, a very good level there. You got another great one here, guys, 648, and another one all the way down here at 624. So really good levels on the daily there, very clean. Do not need to go crazy on those. Let's put those down there and see how low can Tesla go today. Rivian getting a little bit of a bounce again. They had earnings, they had good news, a good outcome, and still they're somehow dropping here aggressively, right? We expect them to drop if the market is going to be dropping, but it just seems an aggressive drop here after the earnings. So interesting how that is playing out there. 1966 low of the pre-market towards the top. I'm going to remove some levels because they're overlapping the highs and lows. So we'll put the 1965 again, and then we'll put up here 2190, and I think you're set there. And you know what? Let's get one more. Oh no, we don't have one more level towards the bottom. No, this is it. All-time lows right on there. Ooh, man, some of these stocks are just scary. Here is AMD. I like AMD's daily here. As we were just talking about, we were talking about this now, stocks, going long when the market is going short. I believe, and this is just again my opinion, that yesterday, if it was not for the market, this thing would have hit 97, 98. It just had that look like, man, I'm not trying to go lower, but it's back here. We're back at this strong level of support we've been at here for some time. If you look at other tech companies, they have not had the same luck as AMD trying to hold there. So let's go back to May, June, and July. We have some areas of consolidation here. We're going to mark down 84.11 just in case we do decide to break that nice level of a support we have there. We do have 82.03 towards the bottom, and just for the heck of it, 79.74. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's that level is just sticking out there. We got to mark it down. Here is Nvidia, guys. Again, I think Nvidia has become such a great stock to trade. 161.11 is the low of the pre-market. Towards the top, guys, the highs and lows are just taking care of you there. Do not need to add in anything else. Let me see. Towards the bottom, we're going again, just very similar to that May, June time frame. Before we went on this huge rally, the tech just started crushing it after that. We do have 155 there is pretty decent, and then another one here, beautiful one at 148. So let's see, we're at 162 now. These numbers are not far-fetched, guys. 155, 148 maybe, 155 with the way things have been going. That is not, that is not too far around the corner if we decide to head in that direction. We're going to give it some levels here, this 152, 150. Let's see what happens there. Big drop for Apple. We are making a new low here. We're down to, what is this now? This is 142.59 towards the left here on Apple. We have plenty, guys, in October, September. It looks like we have some stuff there. 138 is a good level. You have one right here too. This 141. You got a couple of days bouncing off of that. That could be interesting. But this 138 is a big level of support there as well. So there you have it for Apple, and we're set, guys. We got tons of stuff today that's looking very good. Our moderators list is coming up. Let's see what they're looking at. I have Thor, Dima, and Tiffany. We'll wait for a few more to pop their head here, and we'll take a look at that, guys. Again, interesting market, guys. It's going to be today and tomorrow. Cannot wait to see how this SPY is going to end. Right now, we broke down we broke down from that 400, which is again was kind of trying to hold to stay above that. But all the news has not been great overall for the market. So we'll see how this plays out here. All right. IPOs for today. Peter's got a couple on there: PFHC and WYTC, and no SPACs. Are those carry over from yesterday? Is that that WYTC? Okay, so they didn't open up yesterday. Might be opening up today. Let's see how that goes. For those that hit the thumbs up on YouTube, thank you so much. We appreciate it. For those that have not, this will be a great time to do that, and we appreciate you very much for doing so. We promise we will not charge you for clicking that little thumbs up there. And YouTube now, when you click, it has a little color thing that comes up now. So that can make you feel a little better once you click that. So thank you for that. All right, guys. Any questions? Anything else that we forgot to cover? Anything else that we can look at quickly before we hand it off to our moderators that will be trading live today? Norm, anything that we should get into before we drop off here?
Nothing I can think of, man.
Brett, great question. I see Norm answer you there. Yeah, you can get into these stocks fairly easy, especially like a AMD, or no, that's not an SSR, but like a Rivian. They're very liquid. Some of the stuff that's an SSR can still be very liquid, so you can definitely get into those with no problem. Can you make bros and go back up? Where's bros? What do you mean go back up? Oh, here, you mean on the gap down list. There's bros. What's bros up to? Bros, yeah, they're down huge. I'm just concerned with the volume on this thing. I'm not sure. I love the gap down, but I believe these right here, guys, that's all you really need. Stocks that are heavily in play with a lot of volume. Keep an eye on the SPY, see what that's doing, the Qs. And I think although this has its own catalyst today, clearly, its own catalyst out there on its own island, I think these are going to be giving us some really good opportunity. Oh, you're bag holding it. You're bag holding what? Bros? Ooh. Nah, Kenneth, I know you're kidding. I know you're kidding, man. Come on.
Oh,
No, don't
now
tell me
if
that.
you are, I'm very sorry to hear that.
Man.
I know this was pumped a lot on CNBC. Josh Brown was talking about this. He was pretty heavy in it, I believe, around 50,
Yeah.
55.
Yeah. Hey, man, you
He's not
just
in it anymore, I can tell you that.
you never know. You never know. But below their IPO. Hoo. Ouch. Careful. All right. I think we're all set, guys.
He
9:15.
learned a trade from Kathy Wood.
Oh my.
Oh, you
Let's,
bought yesterday on the drop.
mm. Oh, you just
What was
got
that?
in. Oh, these are
Where'd you get in?
fresh wounds we're talking about here.
Oh,
All right, let's get our
yeah.
moderators list
Hopefully
here.
not that. Hopefully it's not that much, but you never know, man. It's starting to get
Never
bought up a
know.
little bit in the pre-market. You never know.
Look, there you go. We got a new pre-market high, man. We're moving. Well, I'm rooting for you.
It's going to move like crazy. Yeah, Kenneth, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I have not looked into it too much. It's one that, I mean, their growth is supposed to be just phenomenal in the next few years, so it wouldn't surprise me to do something.
See, something that drops like that, if they have a good future, possibly they can have rip off day today, rip your face off day today in rally. So we'll see. But stick to your strategy, man. That's what it is. Let's look at our moderators lineup for today, guys. This Thursday, right? It's Thursday today. Yes, it is. Thor, he's looking at Disney, Rivian, BYD, and the scanners. Dima will be looking at Rivian, Disney, and Apple. Tiffany has Tesla, Coin, and Rivian. Here's the IPOs I mentioned earlier. Peter will be looking at AMD, Disney, Apple. Secondary is Ford, Rivian, Six, which is Six Flags, I believe, and Coin.
Yeah.
Jared, it will be looking at Disney, Rivian, and BYD. Secondary is AMD, Coin, and Ford. Megan will be looking at BYD, and that is all she has on her list. So let's move on. Megan will be looking at Facebook, GM, PIN, secondary list, Apple, AMD, and Disney. So we are all set, my friends. Again, guys, very careful. This type of market, you know how things could be very volatile. They can move very aggressive. Just be mindful of your share size. Look at Jared's trade yesterday. He took a trade with very decent size, and the thing ran up like $1.50 in a matter of seconds, right? So things are very volatile. Be very careful. Do not take a whole lot of shares today. And if you find yourself in the wrong side of the trade, do not break your rules, man. Get out and get back in. There's going to be a lot more opportunities. We can't say that enough, because these are the type of markets that people have not really traded, nor me and you have traded in such markets plenty of times already. But if you're new and you have not traded in this market, it could be a little intimidating and overwhelming when things start to go against you very aggressively. So just be mindful of that, and learn from it. Learn from it. Trade small. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but somebody out there needs to hear it. And if you did, well, you heard it from us here. So take care, guys. Stay safe. Thumbs up on YouTube. We will see you tomorrow. It's Friday, so there's no Jared. I know, don't cry. It's okay. He'll be back on Monday, but Norman and I will be on at 8:30 to end the week and see how this spy is going to end, man. Looking forward to it. Take care, guys. Take care on YouTube, guys. Stay safe.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.